Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks today. We are talking Tuesday, March 4th. I'm going to have 5 NBA player prop picks for you guys to lock in. One of those is being laddered to pretty juicy odds, so I am pretty excited about that. Before we can get into those picks for today, we do have to do a recap from yesterday, which was a pretty good day overall. I had 4 picks total, but one of them ended up getting refunded. Ja Morant did not play basketball yesterday, so we got our money back there. We were able to cash out Mark Williams and his rebounds. We were also able to cash out Ausar Thompson and his points. Of course, we lost Max Christie and his points because he just seems like the person that I can't quit. So I've lost 3 bets on Max Christie in the last, 8 days, 10 days, whatever. So probably going to have to take a break on him, but up 1.15 units yesterday. We'll take a day in which we are in the green, especially considering I actually had a video yesterday. It feels like all the days we have days in the green. It happens to be days I don't have a video, so it's nice to have one. Hopefully we can continue this hot streak. It's been a pretty good past 2 days, including Sunday. So again, hopefully we can continue this hot streak. Again, five plays for you guys to lock in. And we can get into it. Just remember to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Sharing my screen, showing you Props Madness, my favorite NBA betting tool. And let's get into it. So I'm just going to go in order of the games from the earliest to the latest. So I'm not showing favorites or anything. So the first one that we have here is Wendell Carter Jr. And we're locking him in on the rebound. So I got over 8.5. I actually got this at minus 102. So it looks like the odds changed here. You can still get minus 110 at ESPN Bet. If you have to, if you're watching this and this minus 110 is no longer available, then I would actually pump this up to 10 plus. I put 3/4 of a unit on that bad boy. So instead of putting the full unit on the 10 plus, that's where I would go. But I locked in 8.5. That's what I sent out to my Dub Club before I started recording. So if you want to get these plays early, I do have a Dub Club. It's only $5 a month. It's just where I send stuff out early. So if you're interested in that, check it out. Anyways, Wendell Carter Jr. So, if you look at the entire season, it's pretty hit or miss for him. Like 20 of 49 games isn't great. Awesome to start the year. Huge lull, awesome stretch, a little bit of a lull. Currently in the middle of an awesome stretch. So I can't pretend that we're fading recent results with this one. He's been really good recently. He's hit this in 6 of his last 7 games. He's averaging over 10 rebounds per game as well. He has landed on the 9 number twice. In this game against the Wizards was a little bit concerning, only 11 rebound chances, but then he just played the Raptors, and that's the most important thing here. He just played the Raptors, 9 rebounds, and more importantly, he had 20 rebound chances. What I love about Props Madness is you can hover over the matchup to get the data of what you're looking for, or some data of what you're looking for. 20 rebound chances in that game is phenomenal. He's played the Raptors 3 times this year, and he's gone over 8.5 rebounds in all 3 of those games, 9, 10, and 9. Now, the rebound chances, 15, 17, and 20. So the minimum he's had in a game is 15. But what I like is the fact that he has shown he can hit it in, I'm not going to say limited rebound chances because 15 is still pretty good, but he can hit it in games where he doesn't have 20. Like this 9 of 20 is an outlier in terms of converting his rebound chances. And if we just look at games where he's had at least 15 rebound chances, which is what he's had in all 3 games against the Raptors this year, and how many times he's hit 9 rebounds, it's 15 of 21 games hitting 9 rebounds. So that's the floor of what he's had in 3 games against the Raptors. And it's a pretty good matchup. Like you hover over the matchup here, the Raptors. In terms of defensive rank versus position, we see they're 19th. Wendell Carter Jr. is listed as like a center forward. They're generally a good matchup for center rebound props. 8 of the last 15, as you can see, have gone over. And if you look at the names, it's kind of these tweener guys, similar to Wendell Carter Jr. So he cashed, Miles Turner cashed, Chet missed, but he just hooked 5 on 5.5. Towns annihilated his 20 rebounds. And then we see Carter bolded here twice. He cashed Porzingis. So just kind of showing you, these guys do have a good hit rate against the Raptors. This guy specifically, Wendell Carter Jr., has a good hit rate against the Raptors. So I like this one. Again, I would take it up to minus 110. If that's no longer available, then go ahead and take 10 plus. Put 3/4 of a unit on that bad boy. Next up, we have a play in this Bucks-Hawks game. And this is our ladder play as well. It's a Damian Lillard assist ladder. So this is what I took. I took over 6.5 at minus 120 because it's honestly just an insane price. I mean, look at minus 120 compared to every other book. I honestly was probably going to take 8 plus, but considering we got minus 120 at Bet365, that's an awesome price. The only other book that was giving comparable odds was Hard Rock. and they offered plus 140 for 8. So those kind of the two options that I'm going to give you guys. Over 6.5 for minus 120. Bet365 is available in most states. If not, hopefully you can use Hard Rock, which you can get 8 plus for plus 140. But I absolutely love this play on Dame. It's one of my favorite plays. I mean, I have 5, but it's one of my 5 favorite plays on the board. I'll say that. And this is a classic fade of recent results. This is really going back to my roots, fading recent results. Look at Dame in his last 3 games. So these are his most recent 3 games. 3 assists on 11 rebound chances, 4 assists on 14 rebound chances, and 6 assists on 13 rebound chances. It's a sub 50% conversion rate. Literally in all of each of his last 3 games, 3 of 11, 4 of 14, 6 of 13. Bad, bad, bad. The minimum potential assist he's had is 11. Look how many times he's hit at least 7 assists on 11 potential assists. This is on the entire season. 65% of the time, he gets at least 7 assists when he's getting 11 potential assists, and now he's missed it in 3 straight. It's the only stretch this year where he's had 11 potential assists in 3 straight games, and he's not gotten 7 assists in one of those 3 games. Sorry, I'm kind of fumbling over my words, but the only stretch where he's had 11 or more for 3 straight games and not gotten 7 assists. That's what I'm looking for. And if you look at prior to that, it was an awesome assist stretch for Dame. I mean, he cashed this in 7 straight games prior to this, and he cashed it in games 7 of 13, 9 of 13, 12 of 20, 10 of 18, 8 of 17, 7 of 13, 8 of 16. So he didn't actually have fewer than 11 in any of these games. But I love this play for Dame. It's also a really, really good matchup against the Atlanta Hawks. You hover over the matchup here, the Hawks. And I actually just talked about this with Ja Morant yesterday. He just ended up not playing. But the Hawks allow the 6th most assists overall. And they also allow the 6th most assists specifically to point guards. We look at the shot zone on the floor. About 40% of Dame's assists come in the restricted area. They allow the 3rd most in that area. Another about 30% come from the above the break 3, and the Hawks allow the 6th most assists in that area of the floor. You look at this matchup against the Hawks, he's got it in 2 of 3, but 15 potential assists, 18 and 18. So those are pretty good numbers for Dame. He had 10 the one time, so that's also the ladder play I should have mentioned. I took over 6.5 for minus 120 for a full unit, and then I put a quarter unit on 10 plus at plus 450. I just think that we're going to see a game where things are going to regress in a positive way for Damian Lillard. And instead of going 3 of 11, 4 of 14, 6 of 13, we're going to see a game where he goes 11 of 13 potential assists. That could easily happen against this Hawks team, especially on plays around the rim. I mean, he's just going to run pick and roll with Giannis, lobs with Giannis. Those are easily convertible assists. So I love this play for Dame. I love it for a lot of reasons. I mean, if you're asking me what my favorite play on the board is, it's probably this Damian Lillard one, or the next one we're going to talk about, which I also really like. Actually, no, it's 2 away. Warriors Knicks. I do like this play, but it's not the one that I'm talking about. I went with Josh Hart, and I went with him on the rebound. So I actually took this at 10.5 at plus 110 odds. So instead of taking this over 9.5 and minus 128, much rather go 10.5 for plus 110. It's been hit or miss for Josh Hart, so this one is definitely a fade of recent results. As you can see, there was a stretch where he hit this in 13 of 15 games, whatever that is. And since then, it's been pretty gross. Definitely can't say anything other than that. There are 2 reasons why I like this play. Number 1, Karl-Anthony Towns is currently questionable with personal reasons. Whenever I see that, I think that person's not going to play. Whatever's going on for personal reasons. It's not injury related. It's not like something that he's going to tough through. And if they're already listing him as questionable, I think that they are preparing for him to miss. So the last time Karl-Anthony Towns did not play basketball was this game right here, when Josh Hart had 17 rebounds on 21 rebound chances. That's pretty good. Even if Karl-Anthony Towns plays, I still do like this play for Josh Hart. So this is not a play only if Cat misses. It's just a bonus if Cat misses. I like this as a fade of recent results. As I mentioned, I mean, he was never going to keep up this torrid stretch from rebounding. And it's also unlikely that he keeps going back to 10.5. We have 9.5. We have 10.5. It's also unlikely that he keeps up with this kind of lack of rebounding as well. I really like the matchup against the Warriors. We look at the guard position. 10 of the last 15 have gone over against the Warriors. You look at it since the All-Star break, because obviously things are a lot different since then. It's 3 of 4. Now, these guys way different rebounding style than Josh Hart. And admittedly, if you look at the rebounding style, it doesn't look as good for Josh Hart. All this stuff was pre-All-Star break. And I'm not saying that everything's different after the All-Star break. I'm just saying that the data is a little bit different. Like, they traded for Jimmy Butler. Their team's a little bit different. They don't have Dennis Schroeder, who they traded for and then traded away. But I really like targeting rebound props against the Warriors. As you can see, 6th or 7th most rebounds allowed to the guard position. They're 19th in terms of rebounds allowed in general. They're actually a really, really good matchup for center rebound props. Like, if you hover over the matchup and you look at for centers, it's, I guess, Karl-Anthony Towns, we're looking at rebounds. That's what we're looking for. 7 of the last 10, similar to Karl-Anthony Towns, and 9 of the last 15 centers in general. The good news is, this is just looking at the position. Josh Hart, despite being listed as a guard forward, he rebounds like a center. Like, if you were to look at his rebounding profile, like where he collects rebounds and stuff, his is more similar to a center than it is a guard like Jalen Brunson or something like that. So the Josh Hart rebounds, I really like. It's a nice fade of recent results. And if you want to go the 9.5 route, which just moved to minus 130, I mean, the hit rate's going to be a lot better. Twice, actually 3 times in this stretch, he landed on exactly 10. But like 10 of 20, 10 of 17, 10 of 14, so we hope for a little bit more than 14. But the rebound chances are there, and there's going to be games where he's going to play heavier minutes. Like, if you look at last year against the Warriors, he hit this in both games. 18 rebounds on 28 rebound chances, 11 rebounds on 24 rebound chances. Now, he played 47 and 48 minutes in those 2 games, which is ridiculous. He probably won't play the entire game, but he's probably going to play like 40 minutes because Tibbs is a psychopath, and it's a big game against the Warriors. And when he's played 40 minutes, 9 of his last 20 isn't amazing. If you look at the entire season, I guess that is the entire season, 9 of his last 20. But a lot of these have come in the second half, and it's just been like missed, hit, missed. So really fading recent results, really looking at the matchup, and then also looking at him without Karl-Anthony Towns. That's our 3rd play. Our 4th play is one that I talked about, could also be listed as one of my favorites. It's Jared Allen on the points. Now, unfortunately, this is no longer available. I locked in Jared Allen, 11.5 points, and it got nuked to 14.5, unfortunately. If I'm betting this right now, which obviously if you're not on the Dub Club, you weren't able to get the 11.5, which was a ridiculous price. It would be the points and the rebounds for Jared Allen. Now, obviously this hit rate is gross. Look who's not playing. Evan Mobley is out. Now, he's only played in 6 games without Evan Mobley, and he's hit it in 3 of the 6. But this is all about the matchup. The matchup against the Bulls is as good as it gets, especially from a points perspective. And the points is also 3 of 6. Over 11.5, it was 5 of 6. We see twice he landed on 14 and 12, so went under that number. But you look at this matchup against the Bulls. They allow the most points per game in the paint. That's where, in the restricted area. That's where 73% of Jared Allen's points come from. And they also allow, allow the most points in the paint. Literally 30th out of 30 in terms of points in the paint allowed. Well, guess what? That's where Jared Allen, 97% of his points come in the paint. You look at the play types. Now, we don't have anything off of cuts. That's where he scores the majority of his points. But pick and roll man, they're the worst defense. Free throws, they're average. Putbacks, 23rd. And then posting up, 27th. Now, he doesn't post up a ton. But it's a great matchup for Jared Allen. You look at him against the Bulls. So one game he scored 9 points. That's not great. Another game he scored 24. And guess who missed that game? Evan Mobley didn't play. And he scored, and if I could go to, there we go, we're looking for without Evan Mobley. So the one game he's played against the Bulls without Evan Mobley, he scored 24 points on 11 of 15 shooting. 11 of 15 seems like an outlier. He could actually have that happen again. And then from a rebounding perspective, the rebound wasn't as great, 10 rebounds, but he had 18 rebound chances. And it's not as good of a matchup. Like, you look at the center position is more average. I just like this from a pace thing. The Bulls allow the 2nd most rebounds overall. They play at the 3rd fastest pace. They just run and chuck shots. And without Evan Mobley, I think it's just going to be a funnel for Jared Allen. So points plus rebounds, 26.5, minus 110 is what I would take. I don't hate the points, 14.5 at minus 118 either. I liked it a lot better when I got it at 11.5, which was just a crazy line. But I like this Jared Allen one a lot. I also like Garland on the assists. If you look at how he has performed without Evan Mobley, it's been pretty good. So you can get 6.5 for minus 125, which isn't terrible. 4 of 6 games, so the over on the assists. One, he had 6 of 6 on 13 potentials, which is good. 5 assists on 11 potentials, which is not as good, but even like that's his floor. 11 potential assists is his floor. He's averaging 12.3, without Evan Mobley. And if you look at games in which he's just had 11 potential assists, which is his floor without Mobley, it's 19 of 24 games. Like actually it's even better. It's 20 of 26 games. And the Bulls are the best assist matchup you can think of. They allow the most assists, second most overall, but the most assists to point guards in the entire NBA. So yeah, really good matchup. If you wanted to kind of do an SGP of like over 6.5 assists and Jared Allen 15 plus points to kind of get those odds a little bit better, I wouldn't hate that at all. It sucks that the points moved to so much, but the 11.5 line that I sent out to Dub Club that all those guys were able to lock in was crazy. But this is our only official bet, was Jared Allen on the points. And then our last bet that we're locking in here is Jackson Hayes, and we're taking him on the rebounds. So this is another one where if you look at the entire season and you look at the hit rate, it's gross. We see it's been better recently than it was at the beginning of the year. And obviously the biggest thing here is they traded away Anthony Davis. So games without AD, we want to look at 10 of 17. And I actually took over 6.5. So I took 7 plus rebounds at plus 155 odds. I would rather do that than another one of these minus plays because, I mean, twice he's landed on exactly 6, but really since the trade, which is what we're looking at, that's when we see him go either like 7 or he doesn't get it close at all. The biggest thing here is the minutes. Like you see, he averages 23 minutes without Anthony Davis. Season average is 18. He had a gross game where he played 7 minutes. Another game where he only played 17, still got 8 rebounds in that game. You look at the injury report here. So Luka's questionable with knee soreness. I think he's going to sit. They're playing the Pelicans. He kind of tweaked his knee a little bit. Obviously, they want to keep him healthy. He was already injured when they traded for him in the first place. I think he sits. LeBron's probable. He's going to play. Austin Reeves is questionable with the calf injury. I also think that he sits, right? You're not going to want to mess with these guys. I think they're all the way up to the 2 seed. They're on a roll. So I think they're going to be a little bit safe. And then Hachimura is out. And the biggest thing here for Jackson Hayes are the minutes. Like if we look at games where he's played 23 minutes, he's gone over in 8 of 12 games. Now the average is gross because it's really hit or miss. It's either, and we want to go over 6.5. So it's actually 7 of 12 over 6.5 rebounds, which is what I took. It keeps reverting back to 5.5, but we took the 7.5 number. And yeah, it's the minutes, 23, 7 of 12 games, and then the matchup. The matchup is as good as it gets. You hover over the matchup here and you see that the Pelicans allow the 4th most rebounds in general, and they allow literally number 1, the most rebounds per game to the center position. This is on the entire season. You want to look at the last 30 days. So that's what we're looking at. This is good. So we're looking at NBA defense versus position. This is per Fantasy Pros. We're looking at the center position. We're sorting rebounds greatest to lowest. Look who's number 1. New Orleans Pelicans. Let's look at another source. Let's make sure that we're not just looking at one source and then making decisions based off that. So another source here, #basketball, great name. Same logic, NBA defense versus position. We're looking at the center position. We are sorting rebounds down. Guess who is number 1? Your New Orleans Pelicans. They are the worst defense in the NBA at stopping center rebound props. And that's what we're betting on here for Jackson Davis. Like if we look at teams that are bad at guarding center rebound props, like let's just take out the top 10. I mean, 4 of 7 against teams outside of the top 10, 2 of 5. So it actually doesn't seem like he performs that much better, but we go to opponent rebounds allowed. It's a little bit different. We take out the top 10 in terms of opponent rebounds allowed. It's 5 of 6 games, averaging 8 rebounds per game. That's just taking out the top 10 in games in which he's played 23 minutes. And the game that he missed was actually a good matchup against the Warriors, the game that he missed. But he had 11 rebound chances. When you have 11 rebound chances, that's not a bad game for needing him to just get 7, especially for a big man that doesn't defer a ton. Now, both Luka and LeBron play. It's going to be a little bit scarier, him getting the minutes, because those guys also just vacuum up all the boards. But I think Luka misses. And I think even with Luka, he's played 23 minutes in like 5 games with Luka, so it's not crazy if Luka plays. But that's all we got. Like 5 games with Luka, so it's not crazy if Luka plays. But that's all we got. 5 official bangers plus a lean for you guys to lock in. Real quick, we'll do a quick recap. It's Damian Lillard over 6.5 assists and also a 10+ ladder. It's Jared Allen. Now, over 11.5 points is no longer available. Again, that's what we were able to lock in. So you can get that over 14.5, or you can take the points plus rebounds. So I do like adding the rebounds as well. Wendell Carter over 8.5 rebounds. Josh Hart over 10.5 rebounds. And Jackson Hayes, 7+ rebounds. that's all we got. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. I have 2 links in the description of the video that I want you to check out. One is to my Dub Club that I've mentioned a million times. The second one is to Props Madness, which you just saw me use this entire video. So check those out if you're interested. I appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.